Welcome back to another video, guys, and today we're back with another Stranger Things Post Tales video, and today we're going to be talking about the possible upcoming new characters in the game. Before that, I just want to mention that developers have done a very good job on reducing the prices for the gear in the club store. So they have been cut pretty much in half. Obviously, I don't know what the prices are for the non 6-star gear, but for the 6-star gear they got cut down from 61,000 down to 30,000, meaning that you can actually now buy 6-star gear every 18 days. Think about it this way. Before it was like 40 days. So yeah, it's a pretty big cut, and they also reimburse people tokens, so this is amazing, and I love that. This is a very welcome change, something we wanted to see back in the OG version of the game as well, but we finally see it happening, and I'm so happy that this is happening, and I think pretty sure everyone is happy so far what I've seen from the feedback. So this is great. We have a new event as well running. It's not really an event, they basically give you free gifts every day. For 12 days you're just gonna get Christmas gifts, and that's pretty nice. I mean, it's Christmas, so can't complain. But now let's talk about the possible new characters coming to the game. Now I know probably most of you have not played the game back in the OG version when it was in the App Store. It wasn't tied to Netflix. Well, not like that, like right now, but it was like a free-to-play game. You could spend money in the game, and that one had a bunch of pretty much more characters than this game. And now what I see, Callie, it seems like they're starting to bring some of those characters back. Now we already talked about how they've sort of brought the Ultra characters in that game to a awesome tier character, and they've added new season 4 versions of these characters. But now I want to talk about possible new characters. We're going to look at the Hawkins-inspired because this still has all the old characters. It hasn't been updated, and this is amazing because now we can actually talk about them. So the cool characters are pretty much the same, and nothing new here. We have the original 10 characters. Moving on to the awesome tier characters. So some of them are still here, some of them are not introduced yet, maybe in future. So starting with the purple colors, so the one we don't have is Funshine. Funshine is a character which was in the OG version of the game, but he is not on this one. So hopefully we can get Funshine soon in the game. Potentially it's going to be maybe another awesome tier character, because I don't really see the point of him being an ultra tier character. Next up, from the yellow color, Axel is the one we don't have currently in the game, so it's a possibility here we get a new awesome tier character, Axel. So there he is. From the blue characters, we actually have none of these three. I know Dr. Clark is one of the most requested characters to be brought back. He was a really good healer back in the OG version of the game, so hopefully we can see Dr. Clark back. We have Jonathan as well. This is the old version of Jonathan, the Lonely Freak version, and then we have conspiracy theorist Murray Bowman, the OG Murray, back here. From the green color, the one we don't have is Officer Powell, the Serve and Protect version. So he was a green character, so hopefully maybe we can see him in the game. I'm not a big fan of this character anyway, so I don't really care as much, maybe as other people. But from the red color, we have Doty, who was a pretty much, I think some people love Doty, I don't know why. It was a big joke. It was a funny thing, we had the joke going around back in the OG version, Out for Revenge. And yeah, Doty is not here in the new version, unfortunately, but maybe we can see her coming down the line. We have obviously updates coming, so maybe we can see her. And also the other character we don't have is Mick, the getaway driver. So yeah, so there you go. This character is still not in the game. So we have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 awesome tier characters from the OG version of the game, which are not in the new version of the game. So yeah, move on to the ultra characters. As you can see, back in the OG version we had a bunch of ultra characters. Some of them are still here, some of them are not. Some of them, like Callie, have been brought back, potentially more coming on the way. Let's talk about the ultra purple tier. So Billy has been downgraded to an awesome tier character, and we just got Callie as an ultra. Dr. Owens, Dustin and Dart, and 11 aka Jane, we don't have in this version yet. So actually I'm surprised they didn't put Dr. Owens, because Dr. Owens is part of the season 4 characters. He was actually introduced as part of the season 4 characters in the last update of the OG version, and they don't have him yet here. So I wonder if they're going to introduce him. I think he has like the biggest chance to be brought back into the game. Dustin and Dart was one of the really cool characters because he could actually give a weakness to enemies, and he was a really cool character to play with. I love him. And then you have 11, who was a very big power damage dealer character who she was kind of immune to poison, I believe, and then she hit enemies for a heavy amount of damage, and then she gave armor to allies. And I think like we're missing the armor aspect of this new version, because I don't think any character gives armor. So yeah, I don't know. We need to get 11 back. We need AKA Jane 11. We have a bunch of 11s though, and they're pretty good. So maybe we won't see her in near future. Max Mayfield was one of the best characters in the OG version, because whenever she did a crazy amount of damage, she gives herself dodge, so she protects herself after dealing a crazy amount of damage. So she was a very good character for bosses back in the OG version. I would love to see her here as well with the new mechanics, with the dice activations and the empowerment. So that would be interesting. Moving on from the yellow character list, we have, so the only character we have is Erica, who is now a purple character, and we have Nancy, who was downgraded from the ultra tier to the awesome tier list. But Barb, Dustin, Monster Handler, Jim Hopper, Sheriff, and Wondrous Woman Max Mayfield we don't have as of yet. Barb was one of the, if not the best healer in that game. Oh my god, she was a beast. She was introduced for Valentine's Day. Maybe we can see for Valentine's again this year. Well, 2023. We can see her introduced back in the Valentine week. But yeah, she basically healed a selected ally for maximum health of 50%, and then she removes debuffs, and then whenever she dies, she charges up everybody, and then she was she was just removing debuffs, and it's crazy. She was a really amazing character. Yellow was the most OP character, and talking about Yellow, we have Dustin. Oh my god, this was probably like the best character in the game. I'm not gonna lie, this guy was crazy. He activated yellow dices, did crazy amount of damage. He gave himself distract, armor, shield. He was a very tough guy to kill when it comes to the enemies, because he was just crazy character, and I love him. I hope we see this version back, revamped and made into another OP character with the new mechanics of the game. Alright, so Jim Hopper, so this is another character we don't have. Obviously we have the new Prison Break Jim, but this one was actually one of the worst characters in the game, I believe, and hopefully if they introduce him, we actually get to play with him and he's like more powerful and I can actually use him more. I love the opportunity of bringing these characters back, because now they have a chance to make them better than they were in the OG version, and they're now more useful. So I hope they actually bring Sheriff Hopper back into this version. Final one is Max. So this one, I believe, was season 2 Max, and she was okay. She was actually pretty good character. She activates the die of the same color. She also healed, and she gave people hide. So she was a pretty decent character for the yellow team. And yeah, moving on to the blue team. So the characters we have in this version of the game are 11, and we have Robin and Steve as awesome tier characters. They have been downgraded, and we also have Max Mayfield, who's now kept her status as an ultra character because she was one of the final characters to be introduced as a season 4 character, so she stayed. So at the moment we don't have this version of Mike. He was one of the mid characters. He was really good in PvP from what I heard, and I know a lot of people were using it in PvP. Yes, we had PvP back in the OG version. Maybe we're gonna get it as well in this version, but this is the Mike who was really good in PvP back then. And then we have Will Byers, who was a very mid character, not the best character you wanted to play with, but he was there and he's not in this version of the game, so maybe we can see him in the future. So yes, all right, moving on to the green selection. So the only characters we have so far are Jonathan, who was reduced or demoted to awesome tier character. We have Joyce, who's here again as an ultra character. This is the season 4 version of Joyce, so she was introduced before as in the final update. And we have Road Trip Mike again, who was a season 4 character which was introduced. Murray was demoted down to a 2-star awesome tier character, and that's pretty much it. So we're missing Date Night Jim Hopper. Hopefully maybe he might have a comeback. He was one of the really weak characters, honestly. Hopefully if they introduce him, he's gonna be more useful. The other character we don't have is Lucas Sinclair, the still standing version. He was a trash character, not gonna lie. Hopefully if they introduce him back, we can have him as a more OP character to be used, you know. And the Will Byers, we don't have this one. So this one is a spy version, so hopefully he's gonna be better. He was like a mini poison king back then, but he was a trash tier character, so hopefully we get him a better version hopefully if they introduce him. Finally, on the red character list, we have, so Bob and Joyce, those are demoted to 2-star awesome tier characters, and the others we don't have. So the Lucas Slingshot, this was like a pretty good character because he activates some dices and adjacent dices, and then he gives everybody bravery. This was a really good character to boost the attack power of the other characters. So this was really great, and then he could like change dices, and then he can get himself energy, and then he can deal damage to people whenever you activate ability. So he was a pretty good character to have, not gonna lie. Next up we have Mike. Mike was a pretty decent character as well, the Dungeon Master version. So because this one can hit multiple times, but if he has different buffs, so he can hit up to 5 times for a total of 400% damage. So he was a pretty good damage dealer, and then he can give himself armor, and then he can heal people with bravery. He worked really well with Lucas because Lucas gives bravery to everybody, and this guy can heal everybody with bravery. So he was a pretty good tag team combo with both of these characters. So Nancy, yeah, she was one of the top 3 trash tier characters of this OG version. If they introduce the Monster Battler version, I hope that she actually is a lot more useful because she was just trash. I don't want to talk about her. And finally, we have Steve, who was a mid character, not the best one ever. So maybe they can bring him back as a more OP version to play with, because why not? People like Steve. Alright, well, this is it pretty much. So if you look at the ultra tier characters, so Dr. Owens, Dustin, 11, Max, Barb, the other Dustin, we have Jim, we have Max, Mike, Will, we have the other Jim, we have Lucas Sinclair, we have the other Will, we have Lucas, Mike, Nancy, and Steve. It's about 17 ultra characters we are still missing. And then when you add, I believe there were like 8 over here as well. It's still a pretty good amount of characters that they need to add in this version of the game. But there's still a lot of time. The game just came out, so it's still fresh. I hope you guys can also have a chance to play with these old versions, because now we're waiting for season 5 of the show, the final season. They have plenty of time to add old versions of the characters from the previous seasons, and obviously just you know, have more interesting combinations and tag team and pair better teams in a way, I guess. And hopefully they increase the rates, because if they add all these ultra characters, that the character pool is gonna get really diluted like it was before. We had like 31 or 32 ultra characters, so on a 4% chance it was like 0.13% chance to pull a character, so it was a pretty bad chance. So hopefully if they do that, add all these characters, they can actually introduce increased rates or have events where the rates are higher. So we'll see. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is the possible list of characters that can come in this game. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys all in my next video.